Party people! Yeah! Tag team music in full effect. That's me.
All right, NFL player ambassadors, how y'all doing? JT here. I've got Chris Draft on the phone, and Chris just got done doing his events with Clemson and Utah State. And I wanted to give everyone a quick update on some of the things that Chris is doing to use Habitudes to really spark some conversation. Chris, you were sharing with me just a moment ago about calling Utah State before you went out there and getting in touch with the captains. Tell me what was your mind behind that? Why did you do that? How did you do that? Maybe give me some insights there.
Well, great question, JT. What's the insight? Is that our conversation is about it's a conversation. It's not us going and speaking at somebody, but we really want interaction. And we can ask for that interaction when we first get in the room. We can ask for buy-in once we get in the room, or we can get that buy-in before that. And so, speaking to the player development guy at Utah State was tremendous to get some background information. But then what I asked him to do, I said, who are your captains? Who are your leaders? And they don't have captains picked yet. I said, but you guys know who your leaders are. Who are the guys that can give me, and I'm saying, to give me an understanding of your team? Because we all know we go on the internet and you look up something, it's a lot of stats, it's a lot of, there's articles, but that's not the team. So being respectful and wanting to know who these guys are before I go in there, rather than just getting to know them while we're there, I said, well, can I get the captains, get some of their numbers? And so, he's a great guy. He reached out to his coaches, and they came back and gave identified a leader in every one of their rooms. Which then I asked for us to be able to meet at 2:30 prior to the meeting, so a half hour before the big meeting of the team. But I was able to call and actually speak to 4 of the guys before the 2:30 meeting. And again, essentially wanted them to get to know who I was and really get their take on their team and remind them that our discussion it's here to help them. And so, whatever they're working through, things that they want to get done in terms of their team, we want, to allow the conversation to be tailored towards that.
That's great, Chris.
So then we got together and as captains, that the captain group, leader group, and had some deeper conversation about it as I showed them the presentation. And I said, hey, I don't want you guys to be surprised. I mean, you guys are leaders of your team. I want you to be able to ask some questions of me right now so that, again, that you guys know that I'm here to help you guys become a better team. Not here to come and talk at you, but we want to have a conversation. So let me show you what we're going to talk about, right? So it's not surprising. So they had a chance to now really absorb. We had 2 habitudes. They had a chance to absorb the iceberg. They had a time to absorb the drivers and passengers before the other guys came in. And what was great is that they even took advantage of the fact that we had already discussed it a little bit, so that they, even without me calling on them, when we got back, even though I was able to, they were like, oh, it was, this is what I'm thinking, So I think more than any of the teams, we had more people involved, and then because it reminded them that even as we looked at the habitudes that it wasn't just about what we wanted it to be from the NFL or from growing leaders, but really how they saw it.
Yeah.
And so when we looked at the iceberg, they ended up coming back with about 5 different interpretations of the iceberg.
Mm-hmm.
Drivers and passengers, there was about 4 different ones that they came back with. And again, in each instance, I reminded them that that's okay.
Yeah.
Because it's how you see it as your team. And, and it works. It works because, again, this discussion is about how we build our team. How do we become better men? How do we become better supporters of each other? How do we raise our standards from demanding more on the field and off the field.
Yeah. Well, here's what I love that you did, Chris, and I know that you do a good job of this. Freddie does a good job of this. Ben's doing this, and Steve just went out and did a great presentation. But one thing that I really love that you're doing is being so intentional to reach out to the university and get involved with the players beforehand, and then letting them facilitate the conversation by you asking a question. For example, you talked about throwing the iceberg on the screen and saying, hey guys, what does this mean to you? What are some other things we can learn from this lesson, in getting them to talk? Just as we go through the whole training, if we look back on the training, one of the big things we harped on is getting the players to talk. So I just want to highlight what you're doing by getting them to talk. I want to encourage all the other ambassadors. I know y'all are doing phenomenal. C.S. Lewis, a great leader, once said, it's not that we need to be told, but reminded. I just want to remind you, the win is to get the players to talk, because that's when it's going to stick with them. It's not about you. It's not about the NFL. It's not about growing leaders. It's about these players and getting them to own it and talk about it. So thanks for leading the way as the example on that one, Chris.
Thank you.